And next, we're going to move on to our next story, which is New York City is using Biden stimulus to support taxi drivers, the homeless, and give artists $5,000 checks. New York City received more aid than any other city in the country from President Joe Biden's American Rescue Plan. It plans to allocate those stimulus funds to a range of areas, including giving some lucky artists $5,000 and working to end homelessness. Last week, New York City released a 70-page report detailing its plans to use the $5.9 billion in stimulus funds it received from Biden. Those plans include a program that provides $5,000 grants to 1,800 artists who suffered financially during the pandemic, a $65 million relief fund for taxi medallion owners, and a $125 million to support homeless people in the city, among other things. The report noted that these measures are just the beginning and that the city's top priority remains getting every resident vaccinated for COVID-19, and that the detailed plans only include those that are funded from Biden's stimulus. It is not intended to serve as a comprehensive report on the city's recovery efforts, the report says, but the city's decision to invest these funds now will help keep New Yorkers safe, restart the economy, rebuild the tax base, increase equity, and enable greater economic growth in future years. Other plans include $1.5 billion to increase employment and support small businesses, and $52.5 million to bring New York City's tourism back to pre-pandemic levels. Insider reported in March that after Biden signed his stimulus plan into law, of the $350 billion in the state and local aid, $22.5 billion of it was divided evenly between all states and the District of Columbia, and the remaining funds were allocated based on unemployment numbers. So that meant that New York, along with California and Texas, were top of that list for that aid. But since states receive stimulus aid, a number of them have been slow to actually get the aid to residents who actually need it. For example, there was a report in July that while Biden set aside $50 billion to give to renters facing eviction during the pandemic, only 4% of that aid had actually gone out because the distribution of that aid was under the control of the states. $8.5 billion for medical care in rural areas also has yet to be spent. And next we have New York City schools are starting to go back into effect in person. Catholic schools across New York City reopened today. It's back to school for Catholic school students across the 5 boroughs. So both the Archdiocese of New York and the Diocese of Brooklyn have several measures in place